With powerful jaws and relentless brute strength, she violently wrenches the massive structure free from the Baobab branch. With a sharp bark of command, he leads 20 agile baboons down the steep granite rocks, cutting off the plain. Dawn breaks over the dry African savanna, casting long golden shadows across a quiet stretch of cracked earth. From beneath a granite boulder, an experienced mother honey badger emerges into the crisp morning air, testing every scent. Behind her, a small 3-month-old cub steps into the light, completely dependent on his mother for survival. Her scarred shoulder tells the story of past battles, but today, her only mission is finding food. The cub stays close, unaware of the predators that constantly patrol these open, sun-baked grasslands. Together, they set off across the dry plains, moving steadily toward the rocky outcrops in search of prey. With powerful front claws, the mother tears into the hardened soil, uncovering hidden beetle larvae beneath the surface. The young cub mimics her every move, clumsily scratching at the dirt to learn the art of digging. She unearths a fat scorpion, deftly neutralizing its venomous sting before offering the meal to her hungry offspring. As morning warms the dry riverbed, the mother leads her cub deeper into the thorny scrubland. Every shadow in this harsh landscape can conceal a threat, demanding constant vigilance from the solitary mother. Her sharp black eyes scan the horizon, reading the subtle shifts in wind and rising dust. Suddenly, a harsh, echoing bark breaks the morning silence from the high, rocky ridge ahead. The mother freezes instantly, her torn ear twitching as the aggressive calls of a baboon troop multiply. Out in the open with her vulnerable cub, she realizes they have walked straight toward enemy territory. High above the riverbed, the troop's dominant alpha male stands atop a sun-warmed boulder, watching the intruders with cold, calculating eyes. With a jagged scar across his muzzle and lethal 5-centimeter canines, he rules this rocky territory with ruthless aggression. With a sharp bark of command, he leads 20 agile baboons down the steep granite rocks, cutting off the plain. Down in the dry channel, the mother badger senses the trap forming and immediately pushes her cub into a dense thorn thicket. The young cub cowers beneath tangled acacia branches, feeling the ground tremble beneath the swift descent of approaching primates. She positions her compact body at the entrance, ready to defend the narrow opening with every ounce of her legendary ferocity. The massive alpha steps onto the pale sand, violently slapping the earth to intimidate the small mustelids standing before him. Flanking baboons leap into surrounding bushes, screeching and violently shaking branches to sow panic and flush the hidden cub out. The mother honey badger does not flinch, baring sharp teeth and letting out a harsh, rattling hiss that echoes through the canyon. When the alpha makes a mock charge, she explodes forward with fearless fury, forcing the much larger primate to leap back. Her courage buys time, but glancing back, she sees 3 agile baboons already circling behind them, blocking the route home. The cub desperately tries to dig into the hardened riverbed, but the baked clay refuses to yield an escape route. Spinning on loose, rubbery skin, she snaps at every darting shadow, refusing to let any baboon get behind her defense. Realizing the thicket is a deadly trap, the mother makes a daring choice, pushing her cub forward into the open, sunlit basin. With the entire troop bounding along the rocky ridges above them, mother and cub sprint toward an isolated dead baobab tree. Mother and cub reach the base of the dead baobab tree, finding temporary refuge beside its massive, weathered roots. She immediately nudges the exhausted cub into a deep, hollow crevice between 2 roots, shielding him from grabbing hands. Planting her stocky frame at the crevice entrance, she turns to face the open ground with unwavering resolve. The scarred alpha male strides into the clearing, flanked by 2 aggressive subadults ready to enforce their numerical superiority. Within moments, 18 baboons form a tight semicircle around the baobab, cutting off every possible escape across the plain. The alpha lunges with an ear-splitting bark, but the mother lunges right back, snapping jaws inches from his face. Her thick, rubbery skin protects her from glancing blows, yet she knows brute force alone cannot save her cub. Frustrated by her unyielding defense, the alpha violently rips dry branches, daring his troop to close the gap. A second baboon darts from the left flank, forcing the mother to spin and lash out with razor-sharp claws. Trapped against the trunk, she glances upward toward the heavy branches, searching for any possible tactical advantage above. Hanging directly beneath the lowest limb is a massive wild beehive, pulsing with the angry hum of 10,000 bees. To any other animal, this swarm is fatal poison, but to a thick-skinned honey badger, it is the ultimate weapon. She turns back to tuck her cub deeper into the enclosed root hollow, ensuring total protection before making her move. Digging curved front claws into rough baobab bark, the mother begins a swift and fearless ascent up the trunk. Below, the arrogant baboons watch in stunned silence as their prey climbs straight toward the most dangerous nest in Africa. High on the horizontal limb, the mother honey badger crawls directly above the pulsing wild hive, positioning her heavy claws. Furious guard bees instantly swarm her face and body, but their venomous stingers cannot pierce her thick, rubbery skin. Ignoring the cloud of insects, she sinks her curved, digging claws deep into the fragile wax base anchoring the hive. With powerful jaws and relentless brute strength, she violently wrenches the massive structure free from the baobab branch. The heavy, dark honeycomb tears loose, plummeting through the air straight toward the arrogant troop gathered below. The hive crashes onto the hard earth, shattering into golden fragments right in the center of the baboon circle. Instantly, a dark, living cloud of 10,000 enraged African bees erupts into the warm afternoon air. The alpha male shrieks in agony as hundreds of sharp stingers pierce his sensitive eyelids, nose, and exposed ears. Panic consumes the entire troop as aggressive bees swarm into their coarse fur, turning their arrogant siege into total pandemonium. Overwhelmed by relentless burning pain, the scarred alpha breaks ranks and flees wildly across the dry savanna floor. The entire troop scatters in sheer terror, completely abandoning their hunt as the cloud of bees pursues them relentlessly. Inside the sheltered root hollow, the safe cub watches in amazement as their dangerous enemies vanish across the plains. High above the clearing, the mother badger begins her steady descent, casually shaking stinging bees from her silver mantle. Her paws touch the dusty ground amidst scattered golden combs, totally unharmed by the chaos she unleashed. She returns to the root crevice to call out her cub, claiming victory over the baobab tree. The young cub eagerly buries his muzzle into the sweet honeycomb, tasting rich honey and nutrient-dense larvae for the first time. For the mother, this energy-rich meal replenishes vital strength lost during hours of relentless defense and daring tactical maneuvering. Side by side, they eat undisturbed under the darkening sky, surrounded by the remnants of the hive that saved them. Licking sticky honey from her powerful forepaws, she remains alert, testing the cooling air for any new nocturnal predators. With a full belly and sticky whiskers, the young cub stands taller, carrying newfound confidence from his first great survival test. The feast is over, and with darkness gathering quickly, the mother nudges her offspring to begin the long journey home. She leads him across the open plains, setting a steady pace beneath a dramatic sky painted in deep crimson and violet. Walking close beside his mother, the cub mirrors her steady posture, no longer stumbling over dry roots or loose stones. In this unforgiving land, true power is not measured by size, but by the courage to face impossible odds. Today, the cub witnessed how cunning and tenacity can overcome an entire troop of the savanna's most aggressive primates. As night settles across the plains, they finally arrive back at the secure shelter of their granite boulder burrow. The exhausted cub slips deep into the cool underground nest, ready to sleep safely after a day of extraordinary trials. Standing guard at the entrance, The mother casts one last watchful look over the dark plains that tried to break them. Survival in this wild land is not victory. It is only permission to wake up and try again tomorrow.